For Complex News, I'm Jinx. It's with regret that I report the fatal shooting of yet another unarmed black male in America by police. At around 2:15 p.m. on Saturday, August 9th, Michael Brown, an 18-year-old African-American male, was shot and killed in the streets of Ferguson, Missouri, as he traveled to his grandmother's house. The New York Times reported that, according to local police who are still investigating the matter, an officer on patrol drove towards Michael Brown and another individual in his police vehicle. The officer stopped his car and attempted to exit and approach the two individuals. Upon his attempt, one of the men pushed the cop back into his vehicle and began physically assaulting him. According to Chief John Belmar, there was a struggle over the officer's firearm and one shot being fired inside of the patrol car. It's still unclear if Brown was the man accused of the physical assault or not. Following the scuffle and initial shot, both the cop and the alleged assaulting individual left the car. Michael Brown was shot approximately 35 feet from the vehicle. St. Louis County Police have promised an ongoing and lengthy investigation to determine why the incident occurred, further details about the alleged scuffle for the firearm, and whether the shooting was justified or not. This account by the police has been met largely with disbelief and anger from members of the local community, comprised largely of African-American residents. Multiple witnesses have told news organization that Brown had his hands held upwards in a universal sign of non-aggression and surrender. Witness Dorian Johnson told local media, quote, "The officer shot again, and once my friend felt that shot, he turned around and put his hands in the air. He started to get down, and the officer still approached with his weapon drawn and fired several more shots." Police have confirmed that Brown was indeed unarmed. The officer involved in the shooting is reportedly a 6-year veteran of the force and has not been identified. Michael Brown's body was reportedly left in the street for hours as both police and local residents gathered around. Since the initial reports of the shooting have been published, mainstream media coverage has largely switched over to news of the protests, riots, and looting that have occurred in the hours and days after the incident. Brown's mother, Leslie McSpadden, and father, Lewis Head, were on site during the protests. Head held up a sign that read, "Ferguson police just executed my unarmed son." McSpadden told a local news organization, "You took my son away from me." Many locals filled the street in protest, screaming, cursing, and yelling at officers on the scene. Chants of "Hands up, don't shoot," "Please don't shoot me," and "No justice, no peace" were yelled repeatedly. Hundreds of police officers responded to the crowd in riot gear, SWAT team support, and K-9 units. On Sunday, the police held a news conference met by a large group of protesters. On Sunday evening, a vigil for Michael Brown was held in Ferguson with thousands in attendance. Tensions between local police and residents again reached heated levels. There were several reports of violence and theft as photos spread across the net of vandalism and looting taking place. A local Quick Trip was destroyed and several police vehicles were damaged in what followed.
Well, I had a Quick Trip where the incident started, and looting, ransacking from Quick Trip. Oh! Yeah. Oh, man.
Go get you some of that money, brother.
Looting and ransack. Lord, wow.
Let's go. Get it. Get it.
Police have reported upwards of 30 arrests in connection with the evening. As always, voices on social media responding to Brown's story made themselves heard. Hashtags like #MikeBrown and #Justice for Mike Brown have been circulating since news of the shooting was first reported. One of the most notable hashtags to come of this is #IfTheyGunMeDown, which highlights mainstream media's coverage and use of imagery to report stories, and displays examples of what images Twitter users think the media would use if they were the ones involved. On Monday afternoon, the Washington Post reported that the FBI has opened a case investigating Brown's shooting and the handling of it by St. Louis County Police Department. What the investigation will focus on, or any potential results it may yield, has yet to be seen. Complex will keep updating the story of Michael Brown as it develops. For Complex News, I'm Jinx.